Do you believe you have the best team for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? Drop it in the comment section below. Teams that gather a lot of attention will be featured on my upcoming Best Team series, where I use your team in a full playthrough and rank it on a custom leaderboard. That series is going to begin soon enough. Make sure to click the subscribe button and drop your team in the comment section below for a chance to make history in the Pokemon community. With that said, let's get on to the video. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are remakes of the first region of Pokemon that I played as a kid. Having already made a best team for the original Ruby and Sapphire games, you might think that the best team for this game is a remake as well. However, in the same way that the intro for this game, while at first appearing to be the same, has actually been tweaked to fit with the times, so has the best team for this game. Like I said in my best team video for the original Ruby and Sapphire games, I disagree with the concept of the Hoenn best team because there are multiple Hoenn games, and the lineups of Pokemon that we have to face change with each iteration. When transitioning from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire to Pokemon Emerald, the champion of the game switches from Steven to Wallace, and both champions have completely different lineups in their teams. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the champion reverses Steven, and the Pokemon used by the Elite Four are now different. The Elite Four and champion are what influence 4 out of the 6 members that are on my best teams for Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Since both of those obstacles have been tweaked in these remakes are worth being the focus of another best team video. Now, the best team for this video wasn't exactly built from scratch, but I think it's more fun to use than the best teams for Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. This is because the graphics of the Pokemon you use during battles have been significantly improved, and this time you no longer need to cheese out wins with toxic stalling and gimmick Pokemon like Shedinja. The team I made for this game was able to defeat all the gyms, the Elite Four, and Champion Steven at an average level of 49 on set mode without any grinding and without using any items in battle. I adopted the same rule set that I used in Pokemon X and Y because even though this team still ends up being underleveled despite receiving the benefits of the buffed experience share, Mega Evolutions are a thing in this game. 4 of the members of this team have access to those Mega Evolutions, these Mega Evolutions significantly raising the stats of the Pokemon in question and essentially making their power fill the level gap between our Pokemon and that of our opponents. With all that said, let's get started. In any best team I create, I look at the obstacles in the game where without the right members, I have to resort to Operation Abuse a Bidoof, where I walk into the grass and make the lives of a horde of innocent Pokemon miserable when all they want to do is eat some berries, because I have to raise my team to a higher level than I would have to if the Pokemon I'm using were the right choices for the team. The first obstacle in this game is Watson's Electric Gym. We need a ground-type Pokemon to add to the team, and there are 2 options available before challenging this gym, Swampert and Graveler. Even assuming that we could access Golem, Swampert is the better choice for this gym because his water typing contributes much more to the game than Golem's rock typing. Swampert can sweep the first 4 gyms except Brawly, but the Pokemon of choice for that gym needs Swampert's help to set her up by using stat-changing moves like Mud Slap and Mud Shot. He can also defeat normal Slackings by spamming the move Dig during the turns where his ability Truant takes effect so that he never gets hit. Swampert is essentially the anchor of the team for the first 5 gyms, making him the best choice for overcoming the 3rd gym and the best starter to add to this team. The next obstacle in this game is Winona's Altaria. The other members we'll add to this team for the later obstacles in this game can easily sweep her other flying types, but Altaria poses a problem because she knows the moves Cotton Guard and Roost. Cotton Guard boosts her physical defense, and Roost restores her HP. This combination makes it very difficult to take her out with super effective rock-type moves that are mostly physical in nature. In the original Ruby and Sapphire games, Milotic would take care of Altaria by spamming the move Ice Beam, which we would get by surfing to the abandoned ship from Celadoport City. However, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we now cannot access the Ice Beam TM until we have been given the Dive HM. Also, we can no longer go to Lily Cove City to buy the Blizzard TM until after we have beaten this gym. In short, we have no access to Ice-type moves before challenging this gym. Now, the Pokemon of choice for this gym actually learns an Ice-type move at level 32, but I wasn't able to raise him to that level despite making him the focus of the team's training after catching him. However, what still makes him a candidate to defeat Altaria is that he is immune to Altaria's move Earthquake and can pivot with a Fairy type which is immune to remove Dragon Breath in order to drain the PP of Altaria's attacking moves and as a result make her a sitting duck, or in this case a sitting dragon, which is at the mercy of the attacks of this team. The Pokemon of choice is one that is immune to ground type moves and can also contribute to other obstacles in this game. The flying type by itself does not do this, but there is a flying type Pokemon that can take down both of Elite Four Glacia's Frost Lasses because of his Mega Evolution making him a water and dark typing, which is resistant to both ice and ghost type moves. This Pokemon is Gyarados. Gallardos takes Milotic's slot in the original Ruby and Sapphire team to overcome Winona's Altaria and help take down Elite Four Glacia's Ice types. He is one of the main anchors of this team to overcome Champion Steven because of the move Dragon Dance, which allows him to outspeed and sweep almost all of his members due to them being vulnerable to water and ground type attacks. Gallardos is the best choice to defeat Winona's Altaria. After this, we have to worry about Tate and Liza. Although their Emerald lineup is more difficult to take down due to them having Claydol in that lineup, they are still major obstacles in this game because of the level gap between their team and ours, which further boosts their already strong defenses. When you have opponents that can tank super effective moves from your team and also have psychic moves that deal a lot of damage to most neutral types, you are in for a sticky situation. However, you can actually cripple Tate and Liza's strongest move, which is Psychic, by using a Pokemon that also knows Psychic and has access to the move Imprison. While this Pokemon is in battle, Tate and Liza cannot use the move Psychic at all, which limits Solrock's offensive moveset to Rock Slide and Solar Beam, while Lunatone literally can no longer attack. Other members on this team resist Rock and Grass type moves, so those members can take out Solrock, and any of the members can defeat Lunatone. There is only one Pokemon in this game that can learn both Psychic and Imprison. That Pokemon is Gardevoir. Gardevoir was upgraded to being a Fairy-type Pokemon in this generation, which boosts her contribution to this team even further. She is the Fairy-type Pokemon that can pivot with Gyarados to drain the attack PP of Winona's Altaria, and she can also take down Elite Four Sydney's Dark types and Elite Four Drayden's Dragon types because of the Fairy typing cancelling out her Psychic type's weakness to the typing of the former's Pokemon, and that same Fairy typing being immune to the type of the latter's Pokemon. She also has access to the move Draining Kiss, which restores her HP every time it hits. Gardevoir is the best Pokemon to defeat Tate and Liza's gym. The next obstacle we have to prepare for is Elite Four Phoebe's Ghost types. You might be wondering why I'm still including her as an obstacle in this game when Mega Gyarados already has the Dark typing. The reason is that her Dusknoir knows the move Thunder Punch, which is super effective against Gyarados. The safest way to take down Phoebe is to use a normal type Pokemon that learns a Ghost type move so that Phoebe cannot use any stab moves. Although Sableye can use a stab Dark type move, Gardevoir would one-shot him with her Fairy stab move. The normal types in this game that learn a Ghost type move are Lanoon, Exploud, Slacking, Delcatty, Spinda, Zangoose, Castform, Wigglytuff, and Girafarig. When evaluating which member to pick, it is important to remember that none of these choices can one-shot Phoebe's Pokemon because her Pokemon are 5 to 10 levels higher than ours, and our Pokemon of choice is not granted the stab bonus that usually accompanies the typing of choice that we add to this team. This means that the Pokemon of choice needs to be capable of tanking multiple hits from Phoebe's Pokemon. With this in mind, all the aforementioned Pokemon except Slacking are eliminated from contention because their defense stats are weak. Slacking, on the other hand, well, those numbers speak for themselves. There are probably some of you who have reservations about Slacking because of his truant ability. This isn't a problem because during one of his truant turns, you can just pivot into another team member that can tank a coverage move from her Pokemon, and then pivot back into Slacking for free because she will switch to using her Stab Ghost move on whatever Pokemon from this team is currently in battle. Slacking is the best normal type to overcome Elite Four Phoebe's Pokemon. Now this obstacle is the one I failed to account for in my original Emerald Best Team video that led to me losing twice to her in that team's playthrough. This obstacle is Elite Four Glacia. In Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, her crippling obstacles to overcome were Hercelios and Walrein. These three Pokemon are water types, and just like psychic types, they deal a lot of neutral damage to most other types. Also, these three Pokemon, especially because of the level gap, are very bulky, so they can still defeat a Pokemon with a type advantage against it by using multiple neutral attacks. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Glacia replaces Hercelios with 2 copies of Frostlass, which already have been accounted for by adding Gyarados to this team. We then have to add the remaining members to this team by breaking down Elite Four Glacia's remaining members into 2 sections, the first one being her Walrein, and the second one being her 2 Glalie. The reason why we can't group them together and pick one member is because Walrein knows the move Sheer Cold, which one-shots a Pokemon regardless of their type. The only way to defeat her is to use a Pokemon with Sturdy that can definitely defeat her after tanking that one hit, or the Pokemon of choice from the original Ruby and Sapphire team, which is Shedinja, since none of Walrein's moves can overcome his ability Wonder Guard. First, let's take a look at the Pokemon with Sturdy and identify which of them are viable candidates to defeat Walrein. We have Graveler, Magnezone, Onix, Skarmory, Donphan, Probopass, and Aggron. Graveler and Donphan don't stand a chance because Graveler's stats are bad, and Donphan, even assuming he wasn't a version exclusive, cannot do anything against Walrein with his ground typing. Walrein's water typing cancels out the super effectiveness of the Sealed type, which immediately eliminates the remaining Pokemon except Magnezone, Probopass, and Aggron, as these 3 Pokemon have a secondary typing also super effective against Walrein. Aggron has better offensive stats than Probopass, so Probopass is eliminated from contention. However, Aggron's attack stat isn't high enough to one-shot Walrein, so he is eliminated as well. What then does Magnezone have that makes him capable of defeating Walrein? He has two moves, Thunder Wave and Volt Switch. Thunder Wave ensures that the entire team outspeeds Walrein, and Volt Switch allows Magnezone to pivot into either Swampert or Slacking after dealing a good chunk of damage to Walrein because of Magnezone's high special attack stat and the stat bonus that further boosts his attack's power. Swampert and Slacking both know the move Hammer Arm, which is strong enough to finish off Walrein, and are capable of tanking one stab move from Walrein. At 1 HP, there is no way that Walrein will use another Sheer Cold because the low accuracy does not make it worth the risk just to finish off Magnezone. So the question is, who do we pick between Magnezone and Shedinja to defeat Glacia? We have to compare how both of these Pokemon would perform against Elite Four Drake and Champion Steven. Shedinja gets one-shotted by any Pokemon that knows a move super effective against his dual typing of Bug and Ghost. 4 of Drake's Pokemon have such a move, and so do 4 of Steven's Pokemon. Magnezone, on the other hand, resists some of the stab moves of Drake's Pokemon and can take down Steven's Skarmory, Cradily, and Armaldo, all of which would sweep Shedinja. Magnezone is the best overall choice to defeat Elite Four Glacia's Walrein. Okay, we still haven't picked a member to defeat Elite Four Glacia's Glalie. You might be wondering why Magnezone can't do that since he is a Steel type. The answer is that if he loses even 1 HP while battling them, which is bound to happen due to their tendency to use the move Hail in our matches, Magnezone's sturdy ability will be neutralized, and he will be taken out by Walrein. So, the question then is who we should pick to defeat these two Pokemon. We could use Milotic to Toxic Stall these Pokemon, but we already have 2 Water types on this team, and both of them already take out the Pokemon on Steven's team that the Water type can reliably defeat. From the remaining members, only Cradily can be Toxic Stalled, but this would be a sticky situation since he knows the move Giga Drain, and he can also control the flow of the battle with the move Confuse Ray. It is also worth noting that the move Freeze Dry in one of the Glalie is actually super effective against Water types, neutralizing the viability of Milotic to defeat this Glalie. The Steel type, on the other hand, is super effective against Cradily, and it also has both an offensive and defensive advantage against Ice types, making that type the best type to take out the Glalie. I pretty much elaborated on the important Steel types in the game in the earlier discussion on the Pokemon with the Sturdy ability, as the remaining Steel type in this game has deplorable stats. We can eliminate Skarmory from contention because the secondary Flying type cancels out his resistance to Ice types. The question then is who we should pick between Probopass and Aggron. This is a really close contest to be honest. The defenses of Probopass are S tier, but his offenses are not so great. Aggron has superior physical defense and physical attack, but his special defense is definitely inferior. I have to give the edge to Aggron because he is a more balanced Pokemon than Probopass. He is a more reliable backup for Swampert to take down Norman Slackings using the same dig spam strategy compared to Probopass. As Nosepass, there is a good chance that he will run out of PP for the move and will still have not taken out either of the Slackings because of how low his attack stat is. Aggron also has a wider variety of coverage moves to help the team with defeating other obstacles in this game. He can learn Brick Break to assist in taking down Elite Four Aaron's Dark types, and he can learn Shadow Claw to defeat Elite Four Phoebe's Ghost types in a scenario where one of her Bandits drains all of Slacking's PP for Shadow Claw with the move Spite and Grudge, or neuters his physical attack with the move Will-O-Wisp. His move Iron Head deals a lot of damage and also has a chance of making your opponent flinch, which will influence the tempo of the match every time this happens. His move Metal Claw also has a chance to increase his attack stat with every hit, which makes his offensive weapons have an even bigger impact than what they already have. To put the cherry on top, Aggron has access to a Mega Evolution, which buffs his stats even more. Probopass only has a definitive advantage over Aggron when battling the Glalie that knows Freeze Dry because of his superior special defense, but against the other obstacles where Aggron is an asset, Probopass is simply inferior due to lack of access to a move super effective against Ghost types, and his offense is not really creating a big dent. It is true that he can Toxic Stall because of his access to the move Rest, but this strategy is not nearly as flexible as simply attacking for a lot of damage, and since it takes multiple turns to pull this off, there is a chance that the opponent could become lucky with a critical hit while Probopass is asleep. Aggron is the best Pokemon to defeat Elite Four Glacia's Glalie because of his capacity to serve as a role player to help take down other obstacles in this game in cases where the selected team member is in need of help because of bad luck or because of a bad play. And there you have it, the best team for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Like I said in the intro, this team isn't exactly built from scratch since 4 of the members from the original Ruby and Sapphire games remains the same, but those 2 new members make the difference between winning and having to resort to Operation Abuse a Bidoof. Coming up with the best teams for all the Pokemon games has given me a new appreciation for the remakes of the classic games that have come out over the years because they provide enough content to present a new challenge because of the changes in lineup and movesets as well as updated mechanics. Anyways, please like the video, share it, and click the subscribe button so I know you're enjoying my content. And don't forget to drop your teams in the comment section below for a chance to be featured in my upcoming Best Team series. That's pretty much it for this video, thanks for watching. DFuego, signing out.